Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Tonight I'm going to take you along with me on a night shift and show you what sorts of things I get up to as a paediatrics doctor working on a paediatrics ward and covering paediatrics A&E in a typical night. I'm working tonight from 8 PM until 8:30 AM and tonight is my fourth night shift of 4, so I've already worked the last 3 nights. I managed to sleep a little bit today, but not as much as I wanted to, so I am quite tired right now. I'm going to go make a huge cup of coffee and head to work. I will see you there. My room is a bit of a mess, but I thought I'd just show you what I'm wearing to go to work, but I will be changing into scrubs when I get there. I literally just wear anything that's comfortable, but this does also look smart, but that wasn't my intention. So I've just got this jumper on and then these trousers. Both of these are from Topshop, but like 2-3 years ago. I just find trousers more comfortable than jeans, so I wear them way more than I wear jeans. But when I get to work, I will change into scrubs, either medium or large, whatever I find. I just parked at work and I had a really nice catch up with my dad on my drive in, but I just realised I left my dinner in the fridge. I made spaghetti with pesto and left it in the fridge, so now I don't know what I'm going to eat tonight, but we'll see what we find. You guys know the drill. I'm getting my scrubs. I always check which ones are soft enough. This one's soft. This is trousers. You have to make sure you don't pick up 2 trousers. Any more tops? Nope, we'll get to a large top now. There we go. They're too hard. This one. Ready to go to handover. Big up yourself. At the start of our shift, we receive handover from the day team, so they give us an update on the patients on the ward. We already know the most of them already because they were here the last couple of nights, and tell us about anything that's changed over the day, also let us know about anything we need to do overnight or anything we need to be aware of overnight, and give us a more thorough handover of any new patients that have been admitted. In paediatrics, it can really fluctuate. Some days you can have a really busy ward and then the next day it's quite quiet because everybody's been discharged and sorted out. So it really varies, but I quite like that. Overnight, we are looking after the patients on the ward and sort out anything that needs doing, particularly if the nurses are concerned about anything, then they let us know and we'll go and review them. And then we're also in charge of any patients that are referred from A&E that they think either need reviewing by the PEDS team or need to be admitted. So basically, we now wait for any referrals that come through to our Bleep, and otherwise just do some bits and bobs that need doing on the ward, and I'm probably going to spend some time catching up on some portfolio things as well. I have some nights where I get to work and I'm literally go until 2 AM and there are so many patients to see, and then there'll be other nights like today where there's not much going on at all and you need to kill time. So it really varies, but I don't really mind that. This is my Bleep, so if anybody needs me, they bleep me. But from a phone, and I'll get a number here and then it tells me what number to call and I can call them back and find out what they want. And I'll have it all night in my pocket. I also have my list of all the patients on the ward, a pen, my card, and then my Bleep, which I just showed you, and my card to get in everywhere. I was given some daffodils on my way into work. It's not actually as romantic as it sounds though. There is a Marks and Spencer's near the hospital and they donate food at the end of the day to the hospital. So I was just looking on my way in to see if there's anything vegan because I forgot my dinner and there wasn't, but the security man was like, oh, do you want some daffodils? And I was like, yeah, they're my favourite. So I'm going to put them in a vase here, or in a glass overnight, and then I'll take them in the morning. But I'm just really happy. Like, they're a bit worse for wear, but they were free and they're lovely and they're my favourite. Lovely daffodils. Ta-da! I found a random travel mug in the staff room cupboard and I'm going to keep them in here until the morning. I did something that I don't normally do, but I didn't know where I could find any vegan food, so I ended up ordering some pho on Deliveroo, and it came really quickly as well. I'm going to save it and eat it in a couple of hours, so I have something to look forward to, but I'm so happy I got it. It was a bit of a treat yourself, and I also had Deliveroo last week as well, so I feel a bit cheeky, but I don't know how I will survive a night shift hungry. I'll probably end up getting hangry and then crying if I don't eat anything. So yeah, I had to, it was essential. Guys, it's time for pho. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have this in my belly. Always take my stethoscope off when I eat, it just feels much nicer. Yeah. So good. Bit salty actually. Maybe a teeny bit too salty, but it is good. The night shift so far has been really weirdly quiet. Normally we would be seeing patients referred from A&E and also sorting out bits and bobs on the ward as well, but I've had to do very little of that so far. I'm only a few hours in, but yeah, I'm getting itchy feet and I feel like I want something to do. I want to see a child and I just want to, you know, do the stuff that I like doing about being a doctor. So paediatrics is split into paediatrics and neonates, and they're kind of separate, but we are also like the same doctors. And I'm on paediatrics right now, but I'll be moving to neonates soon. So overnight there's 2 doctors on paediatrics and 2 doctors on neonates, and that'll be an SHO on each side and then a registrar or a consultant on each side as well. So it's really nice because it's really well supported, and there are senior doctors on site and awake all night long with you, so you're not having to make difficult decisions on your own. Whereas in some specialties like surgery, for example, someone at my level might be a lot more independent and on their own at night and only have a registrar or a senior on the phone rather than with them all the time. So that's a really great thing about peds, it's really well supported by seniors. And it's also really nice just having lots of people around. So sometimes if there's a point in the evening where it's quiet for both of us, we have like a little catch up or a cup of tea together, which is quite nice. And there's another SHO who's my level, so it's nice because we have like, we're buddies and we always have nights together. So I like having that as well. I'm gonna enjoy my pho and then I guess we'll see what ends up happening. Hey guys, I just went to go and watch a delivery with the neonatal SHO, so we went together. She obviously did everything, I kind of just watched, but it was so cool. I just saw a baby be born. It was amazing, I just love it, wow. But a bit stressful as well, because you need to like, you're the person making sure that the baby's okay, but it wasn't me, it was my friend, my SHO colleague. But yeah, it's gonna be me in a couple of weeks, which is mad. Hey guys. It's been a few hours since I last spoke to you, and I've just been down to A&E to see a couple of patients that were referred in. I'm going to tell you about them, but as usual, I will completely anonymise the patients and also change the story slightly so that I can completely respect patient confidentiality and that the patients aren't recognisable. The first patient I saw was a 7-month-old baby, and mum was concerned about the baby's breathing. I took a history from the mum and also examined the baby, and it seemed like the baby had bronchiolitis. Bronchiolitis is typically a viral infection which causes inflammation of the small airways, which is the bronchioles, in the lungs of a baby. In me or you, the same virus would probably just cause a common cold, but because babies are so small, it gets down to the airways and causes quite a lot of inflammation and then makes it quite hard for the baby to breathe. It's really, really common. We see it all the time, particularly in winter, but actually this year we haven't seen it anywhere near as much as we normally would, and it's probably because children aren't mixing. A lot of their siblings won't be going to nursery, so they're not bringing bugs home, and the babies haven't really had much interaction and any opportunities to catch viruses that would give them bronchiolitis normally. There are 3 main things you need to look at when a baby is presenting with what you think is bronchiolitis. The first one is their oxygen requirement and work of breathing. So are they saturating well? Do they look like they're working hard to breathe? Do they look like they might need some support with their oxygen? If the answer is yes, then they need to be admitted. But if they aren't working too hard and they're maintaining their oxygen saturations, then we're happy with that. Another thing we look at is how the baby is feeding. So often when these babies have a respiratory infection, they don't feed as well as they should be, but then they're at risk of being dehydrated. So we make sure that the baby's having at least 50% of its feeds. And if we're worried that it's not, or if the mum's worried that the baby isn't having at least 50%, then we probably need to admit the baby, and we'll end up inserting a nasogastric tube so that the baby gets at least 50% of its feeds and doesn't end up becoming dehydrated. And then the other thing we look at is the social situation, and are there any underlying risk factors? So has the baby got chronic lung disease? Was it a preterm baby, which makes it a lot more high risk and means that a viral infection could damage their lungs more than in a term baby? Are there any social concerns, like do we think that the parents might not understand when to bring the baby back if anything changes? So those are other sorts of things we look at and help decide whether or not to admit a baby with bronchiolitis. I took a history from the mum and examined this baby and was very happy that the baby wasn't working hard, was feeding well, and there were no underlying risk factors or concerns. So I sent the baby home and I gave the mum lots of safety netting advice and told her that we're more than happy to see them again if she has any concerns about her baby's breathing, feeding, or anything else at all. We always make sure it's really clear that we're more than happy to see them again. We'd rather see a well baby lots and lots of times than miss seeing any sick babies and not getting treatment early enough because parents are worried that they don't want to waste our time. So we always make it really, really clear that we're more than happy to see them if they have any concerns at all. The next patient I saw was a 2-year-old girl who'd had an allergic reaction to some cashews. It wasn't anaphylaxis, but the girl had been vomiting quite a lot after having the cashews. So I made sure that there were no other concerning features. The child was very itchy, so I advised the mum to give regular antihistamines and advised to completely avoid all nuts until they were seen in the allergy clinic. I then wrote a detailed letter to the GP and basically explained what had happened, what the child had eaten, what allergies the mum has, and then advised that they refer the patient to the allergy clinic so that more investigations can be done and managed appropriately. And then the last patient I saw was a 5-year-old girl with vomiting and fever. I spent quite a while taking a history from the mother and then examining the patient and looking for any causes of the fever. So looking at their ears and throat, looking at the chest, examining the abdomen, looking for any rashes and making sure there's nothing more serious going on, like meningococcal sepsis, for example. The patient ended up having a urinary tract infection, and this was shown on the urine dip. So I gave the child some antibiotics and sent them home, again with lots of safety netting advice to come back if there were any concerns. Vomiting in children can often be quite vague, but sometimes there can be an underlying urinary tract infection, so it's always important to get a urine dip when a child is vomiting so that you can rule out a urinary tract infection or give antibiotics if one is diagnosed. I'm going to try and have a nap now for about half an hour. I think that before I became a doctor I didn't really realise that you can sleep on a night shift, but it is actually actively encouraged. They say that we should try and sleep for half an hour because then we will be safer if potentially a sicker person comes in the morning in the later hours, and also so that we'll be safe getting home and driving home safely. Yeah, I didn't really realise this. I thought it was maybe frowned upon to sleep on a night shift, but it's not. It's kind of an agreed thing that you should have a bit of downtime, whether that's to sleep or whether that's just to kind of switch off for a little bit. I always have my Bleep on me on the loudest volume, and I also make sure I let the nurses know exactly where I'll be. So before I go for a nap, I always just let the nurses know and check that there's nothing they need me to do on the ward, and also keep an eye on A&E and make sure there's nothing else that might be being referred imminently. They know where I am and they know how I can contact me, so I generally feel okay having half an hour to an hour's sleep on a night shift. I think the main thing for me is just making sure I get home okay, and I definitely find that if I don't have a nap, I feel really tired when I'm driving home and it's just too risky. So for me, that's the biggest reason I try and have a little bit of a lie down. And there have actually been quite a few cases where doctors have crashed and some have even died from driving home and being too tired. So I think because of that, there's been quite a shift in actively encouraging doctors to have a nap if they feel that they need it, and also making sure that doctors aren't driving home in unsafe conditions. Also remember that some night shifts are busy and you might not get to sleep, which obviously in that case I just make sure I have a really big coffee before I drive, but it's not like you'll get to nap on every night shift, and some doctors don't even like doing it, but it's a personal preference. And I've definitely had shifts, particularly when I was working in A&E, where I've not even taken a break, which you're not meant to do, but I've done that before. So it really varies. It just depends on the job, it depends on the hospital, it depends on the day. Like, there will definitely be nights that I have on paediatrics in the future where I don't get to sleep at all. But I'm just showing you this night shift where there is time to sleep and there's nothing outstanding that I need to do, and the patients are safe and I'm contactable if any of the nurses or other doctors need me. I got a bleep. The bleep was a classic. Please can you prescribe some paracetamol for a child? So off I go. Often in the nights you have to do early morning bloods on patients so that the results are ready for the ward round. We don't have a phlebotomist in paediatrics, the doctors have to do them and sometimes the nurses can. So I'm just going to do that now. I always take 2 of everything so that if something doesn't work, then I have backup. Morning guys, I'm about to go to handover and I've got a cup of tea. I've got this cute mug which has my name on it, which the consultants gave us for Christmas, so it's my work mug. And I also always bring oat milk with me to work, because especially when I'm on nights, because otherwise I can't have tea and coffee and I need that. So yeah, make sure you bring your own oat milk if you're vegan, or soy milk, because it makes life so much easier. I've just finished handover. I basically handed over all of the patients on the ward, just like the day team did for me at night, and let them know about any new admissions that had come in and anything that changed overnight or anything that happened overnight. And yeah, now I'm gonna go home. I've finished my shift, I've handed over my bleep, and I'm done. That's it guys, that's the end of my night shift. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. This shift wasn't as busy as some can be, and that's just how medicine is. Sometimes you have a really busy shift and sometimes you have a less busy shift, but that's part of being a doctor. You don't really know what your day is going to be like, and that's part of the beauty of it as well. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a better idea of what sorts of things I get up to on a night shift. If you liked it, please do like, comment and subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me, and I will see you in my next video. I'm going to go home now and have a nice fat sleep. Bye!